So,
Yeah.
oh, magically, when you pointed at it, it went off.
We should do that one.
It's magic. When you're all finished.
Alright, we've got live in 5 minutes again from now.
Welcome to Haunted Horizons GhostCast, where your hosts, Alison Oborn and Cag Allwood, will share their experiences in some of the most terrifying and haunted locations in Australia and overseas. So turn the lights off, relax, and enjoy. All right, here we are again, Cag.
So what episode is this one?
We had to look that up, didn't we?
Well, yeah, I was trying to work out that we didn't know. But actually just, worked
We've
it out.
lost
This
track.
is 9.
I know. Where did that time go?
Wow.
So, number 9. And for number 9, we are heading off to the UK.
Wow.
And
Yes.
we'll get into that one soon. So I believe, Cag, that this episode, when it goes out, is going to be, if I'm correct, the 23rd of December. So where does that take us?
Just before Christmas.
It
You're going to be
does.
really embarrassed if this one doesn't come out to New Year.
I know. So if this one comes out in the new year, we do apologise. Merry Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
But Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you for all the support and all the listening people that have given the podcast a try. Even more so the ones that are continuing to listen. So
You've had some good comments, haven't we?
we have. We've had some very positive comments. And don't forget, there is a video version. And that video version is for the membership. So it's a membership. And that membership is available on Spotify for the video. For the video people, you will know why we're giggling.
Laughing.
We're laughing and giggling at the moment. We may have others in the studio.
Mm.
So, all right. Well, we're going to get into the other. We've got a Christmas present for everybody.
We so have, but
So-
not one you have to unwrap though.
No, but it's a bit of a treat, isn't it,
is.
for Christmas? And we've got 2 guests in our studio, Amy and Jarrad from Amy's Crypt. So, yay! I could do the special effects, but they're not very good. Doesn't
Merry
matter, people.
Christmas.
Merry Cryptmas.
Merry Crypt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Merry Christmas indeed. That's a great
That
saying.
is good.
And what are you doing for Christmas, guys? Obviously not travelling, so spending time with family and
Yeah, just
Yeah.
family stuff. Nice
Taking
to
it
be grounded
easy.
for Christmas.
We're taking a break as well, aren't we, from posting videos?
Yeah.
oh, that's
a few
good.
weeks.
Yeah. We won't be.
Well, I don't do that.
Because
so-
we're not YouTubers. So.
No, we're
but
not
because
YouTubers.
we've only got a YouTube channel, we have to keep working hard and
We do.
putting things on.
We do. So we'll carry on. Well, I don't. I just
Yeah.
leave Alison to do it
Yeah.
and then just take any praise that comes along later on.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about one of the places we met up with you in England, didn't we? Of all
In Wales.
places. Oh shit! Yeah. Better rephrase that. I know. Before.
You're not very good. I don't. For somebody that was born
Hey,
and
hang
bred
on.
in the
No. I will correct myself. We did meet up in England.
True.
We did. So technically, I haven't said where we're going to talk about CAG. I just said we met up in England. And we
That
did.
is true. We did meet up in England.
Thank you.
Can I just
Thank
say
you.
though? Can I just say, for somebody that was born and bred in the UK, your what's the word I'm looking for?
Geography?
Your geography is absolutely crap
It is.
because you've got the Scottish English side mixed up, and now we are supposed to be in Wales.
Yeah. We also met up in Wales, didn't we?
We also did that, yes.
We did. Mm-hmm.
So, and we actually met up, first of all, at the Skirrid Inn, which is one of your favourite places, isn't it?
It is. There's so much history there, so many ghost stories, and it's such a cool, cute little pub. Really, really cool. But it's also where we came up with the idea, 4 years ago? maybe 5 years ago for Ghost Tube. So it's sentimental to us.
I think it was also one of our first cool locations that we had to ourselves that we had rented out. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it all began. So the Skirrid Inn, the history of the Skirrid Inn. And you've covered a lot of the history, haven't you, Amy, for your episodes?
Yeah, we did a bit of digging. Found out it's actually quite old. Has a history with executions, used to be used as a courthouse. A lot of grisly tales there.
Mm. So it was built in the 17th century?
Yeah, mid to late 17th century.
But was there anything there before?
I think, isn't the talk that there wasn't something else there beforehand, another pub or something beforehand? But I know that the door, which is something I know that you liked, Amy, in particular, was the original. But it's not actually the original door because that dates back 1,500 years.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was just a door there before they built the pub.
They started
The
with
door just stays.
Excuse me.
Around it.
Can you just no, you didn't come through the door. I don't care. Just come through the door.
I did do that.
I don't know why I did that.
But yeah, that's an old door.
The door is epic.
Because it's been
Yeah.
dated, carbon dated, hasn't it?
1,500 years old, they
Yeah.
reckon that is, yeah.
It's amazing.
So it's claimed it was used as a court and a place of execution, and possibly 180 people were hanged on the staircase.
That's a lot.
Ooh, that is a lot.
And that staircase, they've still got the original hanging beam, haven't they?
Yeah, if you run your fingers on it, you can still feel the grooves of where the rope would rub.
Because it's not at the top now.
No, they've moved it, yeah. They do have one at the top, but it's just a replica, but the actual original one's at the bottom.
Yeah. So, and they've got I don't know how safe it is, but they've got a rope there, haven't they? Hangman's noose.
Yeah.
They do.
It's a liability hazard, a bit, isn't it?
Hey,
You
it
wouldn't
adds
get
to
away
the
with that.
atmosphere. It adds a little something special.
It's
Adds to
also
those insurance premiums.
it,
as well.
it also is very good though if you want that nice slow motion picture about the rope swinging on
Yeah.
your B-roll. That's pretty cool.
It is. It sits obviously in Wales, in the
Right.
mountains there, doesn't it?
Mhm.
It's a beautiful setting. It's a little town around it, isn't there?
Yeah, and they've got a local, I don't know, chapel, church, and graveyard as well.
Yeah,
that we
next
walked
door.
to actually when we met up
Oh,
there.
we did.
Yeah.
We did walk down there.
We went
didn't we?
looking for a specific person, which we'll talk
Yes.
about soon. And isn't there something about the mountain being hit and split?
Yeah, so the Skirrid Inn is named the Skirrid Mountain Inn, like its full name, because of the mountain that sits right near it. And the Skirrid Mountain, there's some sort of biblical tale with, when Christ was crucified, the mountain split open. And even the sort of logo and the signage for the pub, you'll see that mountain getting struck by a lightning bolt. So
Yeah. Now you found something interesting out as well, Cag, didn't you?
I did.
I don't think we knew. I don't think you knew either.
No.
I never knew this, no.
No, so I was doing some research on the history again, and I found that opposite the Skirrid Inn, there was a prisoner of war camp.
Wow.
The land was originally used to grow food, and they've actually had people, the archaeology, it's easy for me to say.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. To go in. They've actually found pottery dating back to the medieval times there as well. But supposedly 1943, the Allies captured Indian and German servicemen in North Africa, and they sent them to rural camps in the UK. So they would work on the land, they'd work on roads, they'd work in quarries. So that was there for quite a while. In fact, some of them eventually stayed once they were released.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and obviously you're saying there's medieval pottery found there when they were doing that. So there must have been a big history there in that area, even before the Skirrid Inn.
yeah, they've got to have been. I think it was, wasn't it a walk through from certain areas of Wales where they obviously, that's probably, that's the reason why they always put a pub in a certain place, because people would walk through or get a horse or whatever going through from one area to another. So it would have been one of these landmarks on the way.
For a long way, yeah. So with these hangings, and if I remember rightly, when I was looking into the history, and I don't know if you found the same thing, Amy, it kept coming up that they couldn't prove that there was all these executions there. There was no written record. Is that correct? Did you find the same thing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of contention around the history with, I think it was definitely used as a courthouse.
Yeah.
The hangings and the executions, has that become folklore over time? Because, you know, even delving into a bit of the ghost folklore, some people say there's a certain judge who haunts there. But then a lot of people say, hey, that judge never actually presided in that courtroom, was not actually associated with the Skirrid Inn. So I think some of the execution law is sort of the same.
Yeah. So, but the beam does, the original beam they've got there does seem to indicate there was a lot of rope use, because you can actually feel the rope burns on it, can't you? The grooves.
For sure.
Now, whether that was used for taking heavy items, you know how you heave it up with ropes up the
But
staircase.
you'd think they'd use a pulley for that, wouldn't
You would think,
And
yeah.
it's not like the stairs are that, it's not
No.
a super tall building.
No.
If I can carry our 2 suitcases up there, anyone can. Actually, I think I brought up your gear when you arrived too.
You did.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
No pulley
yeah,
required.
He was a gentleman,
He was a
absolute gentleman.
I do wonder where the stories come from, if they, you know, just came out of thin air, or there is some legitimacy to them. Because, yeah, where did the beam come from? Yeah. And that's a lot of hangings, you know.
And not only that, at the end of the day, you usually find stories come from somewhere. Somewhere back in the mist of time, there seems to be a basis for these stories starting and going through history. So,
yeah. And it may not have been a legal hanging. It could have been a legal one.
yeah.
And there was a lot of those.
All right. So, actually, you did just touch on it there, Amy. So it might just lead us in nicely to who is it? Who is it that they think is haunting the Skirrid Inn?
So there was a very notorious judge, John Jeffreys. He was known as the hanging judge, existed in Wales, and I guess was one of those people who was known, very prevalent in getting people executed. So naturally, you know, if there's so many executions done at the Skirrid Inn, was he part of that, or did his name just kind of get pulled in later with the folklore to give a bit more emphasis on how much death did occur there and add to that story and the folklore and the hauntings? Or was he actually associated with the Skirrid Inn? There's a bit of contention there.
Yeah. But it was interesting because later on in the night, and I'm just going to bring up Judge Jeffreys, John, we did actually get the name John while we were doing the Estes. I think, and we'll talk about the rest of what happened on that investigation when we all did it. But when you were on the Estes, if I remember rightly, the name John came out. So, and at first we're going, oh, I think it was you, Jarrad, that said, I think John means something. So you'd obviously heard of it.
Yeah.
You said Amy, but there's 2 Johns.
I will admit, Amy's good at remembering all the names in history.
There's actually
I'm
2
more
Johns.
of the, I think that sounds relevant.
Yeah, and he said it at the time, and
Yeah.
it turns out, yes, John Jeffreys was the judge there. And there was a John that was executed,
John
wasn't there?
Crowther, he was executed because he stole a sheep, probably because he was absolutely famished and his family was starving.
Yeah.
But he lost his life as well.
Yeah, so John was quite relevant. Like, Jarrad knew it was relevant. He just couldn't at the time think of why at the time. But it was interesting. We did get John coming out. So you've talked about the judge and there's a shadowy figure seen around the place, which is, especially on the staircase, which I think you said was supposed to be associated with that judge, the hanging judge. But there's other ones there, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you've got the judge hanging there, you need the hangman. So, yeah, allegedly, the dark shadow figure, hangman, people get rope burns appear on their necks around the staircase, which is pretty sinister. You've already mentioned that one of the more prevalent, more known executions, John Crowther, I believe he was the last person to be hanged at the Skirrid, allegedly, just for stealing sheep. He's also said to remain there. Then you've got a priest, Father Henry Vaughan, who hangs around. Usually I've heard he's more downstairs in the pub area. And then maybe one of the most famous ghosts there, Fanny Price. She was a former landlady, sort of hangs around the upstairs rooms and passed of tuberculosis. So there's a number of spirits there, a lot going on.
And that's where we went to the cemetery, wasn't it? Because Fanny Price is actually a real person.
Yeah.
It's not just to say so. She is a real person.
We actually did find her tombstone, didn't we?
Yeah.
We
Pay
did.
our respects.
Yeah, found the whole family there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
This is their
you can die at any age, Jarrad.
16 years, and that's their child,
Oh.
Catherine.
Ellen.
Yeah.
So she did have a child. Because we were asking that too, weren't we?
Yeah.
What's that?
We were asking her last night, do you have any children?
Oh, it's the eldest daughter of. So they had more. She died at 16.
Yeah, William Henry Price, that's probably a son.
Henry Price, Fanny.
William Henry Price is probably a kid.
Yeah.
Remembering there's another Price just behind us over here. Wonder why.
Oh no, she got one that died age 22, another one died age 5 months.
Aww.
So 1886. So you got father, mother, eldest daughter. Now who's that one in the middle there?
Middle child's probably down there somewhere.
So you've got William was 22 and Robert was 5 months.
Why are they all...
And at least now we knew it was backed up with fact. And she's buried next door to the pub. Now, happenings. So what sort of things happen?
Talked about rope around her neck. Talked about glasses moving downstairs. Can I say that?
You certainly can. So what sort of things, I mean, when we kind of looked into it, obviously you'd already looked into it a lot more than we had. We kind of go in a bit blind. What sort of encounters were people having? What made people think it was haunted?
One thing that I was hoping would capture when we went there was glasses moving around downstairs. Apparently that's a thing, and people have heard glasses moving or have seen glasses moving on the bar downstairs. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for us, but that is something that people have reported numerous times throughout the history of this place.
And that's why you had already set up glasses, hadn't you? I remember when we came in, you'd already set up a glass, and I think there was a ball on top of it.
Yeah, there was cat balls all over.
Yeah,
the
and
place.
we were hoping that glass would scoot across the counter there, but obviously
I would have
not.
loved if that happened. For Jarrad and I, that was our second or third night that we had spent there. And, poltergeist activity is said to be very common. Something that happened for us, we never actually saw. We just sort of noticed or we heard the noise of doors moving. So that would have been really cool if we actually saw it or managed to capture it on camera. But people, they've seen the shadows, they've heard footsteps, they've heard voices, they've smelled things like perfume. Things have been sort of moved around within people's rooms because they've got the 3 different accommodation rooms you can spend the night there. So, there's a lot going on at that place. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of reports of hauntings there.
Not only that, but we had phantom toilet flush.
Yeah,
You did.
And it was in the male's bathroom downstairs, and it was a urinal, but it wasn't a modern urinal with a sensor. So it was a pull to flush sort of mechanism. It was a manual mechanism. Could just be bad plumbing, but
I saw. But here's the interesting thing: is I watched that on your episode, which, by the way, it's up on YouTube now. I gather that's where I watched it, so must be. But go and have a look at this because it goes off 2 or 3 times, doesn't it?
And I don't remember it going off you guys were there, did it?
No, and that's what I was about to say. In that whole episode that we made, 2-parter, it never went off once that night.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, trust us to have a friggin' toilet flush while we're investigating.
It always happens for us.
It always circles back to the toilet.
When the spirits got to go, they got to go.
That one obviously had to go several times.
But actually, I don't think we did a good job in our video of showing it, but we actually did look at the ceiling and there was no sensors. It was a complete manual mechanism, not an electronic one. So,
but if it was glitchy as well, you would have thought it would have done it the following night.
You guys,
it would have been a constant thing. It would have been happening over and over. So
you can add that to the list of things that happen there now.
These questionable things.
What is it with ghosts and toilets?
Don't you have a theory, Ames, about the water and...
Well, things always happen to me in the bathroom or the toilet, as weird and embarrassing as that is. But I'm like, maybe it's the metal in the pipes, or maybe it's the water. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because to back that up is when I was doing 30 odd years of research, when we were doing private homes and we were getting called out to private homes. So over and over again on these investigations in the homes, the amount of times people were reporting most of the activity was around the bathroom. So they'd be having showers and they'd see a figure going past, or they'd have something happen. It always seemed to be around water areas.
Not phantom smells, I hope.
No. Well, they didn't admit to those, but definitely water-based. So again, it's very interesting, isn't it, that you're finding the same thing when you're just doing your investigation.
Yeah, but some of our venues are the same.
Yeah.
Adelaide Arcade, Z Ward.
Haunted toilets at the Adelaide Arcade.
And maybe it's the mirrors as well.
Yeah.
It's a place where generally there's usually always a mirror.
Mirrors.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Portal to the other side.
We went to Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Supposedly
haunted toilets there.
Was that haunted or haunted for other reasons, the bathroom at Bobby Mackey's?
I'm not quite sure
it was
about that
anything like the rest of the floors there.
We've heard about that one.
Yeah. It was an interesting place.
It was.
Well, we might do Bobby Mackey's another time.
I think we should do.
We haven't got anything to report, but it was one of those. But yeah, no, it's interesting about the water that you said. So, and what is it about the rooms when we got there, Cag?
They'd already been sorted out by
They had.
Amy and Jarrad, and who was having which room.
They had. We got there, which was our night, by the way. All right. These guys were just freeloading that night.
It's true. Can I just say, actually,
they just wanted to be with famous YouTubers.
They did, yeah.
They wanted to bask.
Famous YouTubers.
They wanted to bask in our glory with our YouTube channel. All right. And what was it, Amy? Sorry, you were about to say there?
I think maybe you're still sour about the room allocation.
Do you reckon Cag might have a...
Well, she got the Fanny room.
I got Fanny's room. So,
which is so appropriate, really.
Yeah.
We thought you would have liked that room.
Hey, you know what? Actually, you two got the most haunted rooms.
Yeah.
So we did you a favour.
Actually, they did do us a favour because they got steps down to their toilets, and there's no way I could have done steps during the night.
Can you imagine me if I stumbled out of bed?
Yeah.
Because
you would have broke your neck.
Just to give people the picture of this, because obviously not everybody's going to see videos. The picture of this hotel, very old, but the 3 rooms upstairs are very old as well. And the one that Amy and Jarrad have, or had, who chose and settled themselves in, and there was no getting them back out again. They didn't entrench themselves with their little nails in. I'm not leaving. But they had the very odd bathroom.
Yes.
Which had a staircase going down.
Yes.
And that was supposed to be part of their courtroom, wasn't it? Or the court.
It was the old holding jail cell. So, you're welcome.
So we had to go downstairs to go to the bathroom and then back upstairs to get back into our room.
It's a really weird setup.
Yeah. Oh, this is the really nice room, isn't it?
Yes.
That's a really nice room.
I want this
You remember the lovely room? Yeah, we both did. But could we get rid of the people who were in here?
No, exactly.
Someone had already moved in and started squatting in this room.
It even had a desk.
So Jarrad and I, joke is Jarrad and I spent the night here last night and we dibsed this room because it's really cool. You guys got cool rooms as well.
Guys, be prepared to see the weirdest bathroom ever.
I'll go in.
It has a staircase.
So it's kind of like obviously a really weird bathroom. A little bit grand, but at the same time not. And allegedly this was an area where they held prisoners who were waiting to sort of go on trial in the court just out here. And it sort of seems courthouse-ish to me.
So, did you have anything happen in that room at all during the nights when you were there?
Not so much during the night, but we did a ghost tube box in there and we got a really cool response come through. And it said, I like the Australians.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're like, yes, that's us.
So that was actually in the bathroom, not the room. So,
right.
Yeah.
Where the prisoners would have been
Mm.
held.
So
Oh,
that was
cool.
interesting.
That's cool. So you got Fanny's room.
I did get Fanny's room. Now, Fanny's room was fine because you had to go down the stairs before you went into the bathroom and the bedroom. So that was okay. So during the night, I wouldn't have broken my neck.
No. And I had the big courtroom.
You did.
We made sure Alison's room had no stairs whatsoever. We know her history.
Just to be safe.
So it was actually really well planned, wasn't it? Really?
It was.
So we'll let you off.
We'll let them off. We're accusing them of stealing the room, but really they put a lot of thought into what would
They
be best
had.
and what we would like the best. I can
Exactly.
see that they did that.
Exactly.
We care.
They care.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing I had in my big room during the night is the door opening to the cupboard. There's a big cupboard in there, isn't there? Like
Oh, you did?
yes, I did.
Oh.
I didn't put that in the episode, but I did. And
That's interesting.
because I
Yeah.
didn't film it opening, and unless I film it, it doesn't happen type of thing. But yes, no, I got up in the middle of the night to find that it had opened at some point in the night.
Frustratingly, we heard a door open and we concluded it ended up being that door in your room. Obviously, we didn't catch that on camera either. That was during the day while we were in our room. We heard a door open, and because we had all rooms booked out,
Yeah.
we knew that there was nobody else up there.
Yeah.
And we concluded it was the door in your room.
So we had the door to our own room open whilst we were in it during the day, and we heard a door open, which could have been that door or it could have been the cell door on the staircase. But yeah, the cupboard had definitely opened during the time that we had entered that room and then left it empty.
All
So-
right.
The reason why we took notice of the cupboard being closed is because the owner of that place, we have seen in other videos them commenting specifically on that cupboard.
Okay.
And so I made an effort of actually taking notice whether it was opened or closed when we first arrived at the location.
Well, I know that I'd heard that as well from somewhere, so I had made sure it was shut. And then I got up to go to the loo in the middle of the night, and it was open.
That's
So-
cool. I didn't know that.
And it's not
So
it's
good.
not something that swings either. I noticed
No.
it does shut quite securely when you shut it. So yeah,
I was just hoping that Fanny didn't join me in bed. That was all. In my room.
Jesus.
okay. Moving on.
I'm sorry.
You said that.
This is
so
the worst
wrong.
episode to do. Okay.
Talking of those, and talking of my bedroom, and talking of first arriving, well, I had a bit of an incident.
You did. You had a bit of an incident, which,
Do you think these people should turn off while I tell it?
maybe they should.
So we do like to tell little funny tales, and Jarrad and Amy were part of a funny tale. In fact, two. I'm going to tell another one later. In fact, we're going to discuss one where they were actually in the room for it a bit later, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
But this one, so we'd arrived
Mm-hmm.
and we decided we would settle ourselves in.
Yeah.
So I went into my room and I said, look, I just need to have a little sleep because we'd driven a long way. It's been a long day. And I said, it was about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, look, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm going to have an hour's sleep and then we'll have tea and then we'll get on with the investigation. So, of course, what happens before you go, when you freshen a room, Kag, and you're going to kind of settle down, what do you do first?
Normally, before if I'm going to have a nod, I'll go to the toilet first.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
You go and kind of make yourself comfortable. Been a
Yeah.
long journey. First place you go, toilet. So that's what I did. I'm not proud. I mean, I'm not ashamed. Proud. I'm not proud of it either. But I'm not ashamed to tell this story. So I've no pride, self-pride. But so I went to the toilet and suddenly remembered that I'd forgotten something. I needed to go and get it. So now you've probably been in that situation. It's hard work, isn't it? Pulling all your pants up and
especially when you only got a room by yourself.
buckling them all up again with
Yeah.
your belt, trying to, and then having to. So I thought, you know what? It's just there. It's just across the room. I'm high up on the second floor, so I'll just go and get it. So if people can picture, right? I'm coming out the toilet across my bedroom floor with my trousers around my knees, kind of doing the little shuffle across the room. And as I'm doing that, I suddenly heard this noise.
Okay.
And it was kind of a droning noise,
What was
Kag.
that?
Yeah, it was this... exactly. A little bit like that. And I thought, what's that noise? And I turned around and there was a drone. Jarrad and Amy decided to put their drone up at that point. So which was going across the side of the building and at pretty much the height where I was actually going across the floor with my pants around my ankles. So
now we've caught Fanny on camera. Might be the only YouTubers to have captured Fanny on camera. At the Skirrid Inn.
The first Fanny sighting for the night.
Now the question is, Jarrad, were you scarred for life or did it actually not get me? It's a question we've been wanting to know. We've been telling this story.
You got lucky, and I don't, because Amy, you
well,
edited,
hang
right?
on.
Oh, you were watching.
Shameless self-promotion. If you want to see that drone footage, go to the Amy Script YouTube channel. You can just see Alison's head, so we're all good there.
We're all good. We're all good. Must have just timed it so the drone was a bit lower than what it had
That was
been.
our one moment to get the drone up before the sunset as well, and we took it.
Hilarious.
We're like, haha, they're going to be asleep just listening to it go by.
Wow,
We didn't expect you to just be pantsless in the room.
Ames, we just gained 100 subscribers just now.
So that was that funny tale. Now we went into the investigation. We had tea. Everybody left. We had the whole. This is a great thing. They brilliant there. They trusted us, didn't they? With the whole pub, bar, and everything. It's just like there's the bar. They just didn't mind, and we had the whole run of the place. Quite often when we do pubs and hotels, when the owners go home, they lock off the bar. So, but no, we had the full run of the place.
Yeah.
Now we started doing the investigation, and it started very early on, I think, because Amy, you were trying to get a response, and knocking on the bar, I think, was one of the things you were trying to do, and she basically said, can you copy this? And she knocked like that. And we got return knocks. Now, we didn't know it at the time. I don't think you remembered it either, did you?
I didn't even know
until we started going through the footage. But we do actually get these return knocks. And I've only... Actually, recently, we've had that a lot, haven't we? We've had it at Crescent.
We have, yeah.
We've had return on 3 knocks at Crescent. Sally House, we had those 3 knocks, I think, twice at the Sally House. Have you ever had that? Just 3 knocks?
For us, knocks and tapping noises are something that we get really, really often. And I do wonder, if there are spirits around, maybe that's something that's easy for them to do for you. Like maybe it's just the easiest way to communicate. So we definitely, I usually do that, and I'm like, can you do this for me? Or especially if it's like a sort of rhythmic thing, like 3 knocks in a row, rather than just, once off where it could have been a natural noise or it could be this. But when you get something, distinct back, that's always more interesting. But yeah, very common, I think.
Yeah, I just recently we've had it. I had it once at the National Railway Museum as well.
Oh, did you?
And that was freaky because I tapped on the train 3 times, said, can you just copy this? Boom, boom, boom. Kid you not, loud as day, across the other side of the Fluck Pavilion. The responding sound. Dum, dum,
cool.
Dum, and there was nobody else in there. So it is possible. It does seem to repeat. Not all the time, but yeah. And we got a couple of strange sounds. We even got a strange EVP, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember near the bar we got an EVP. And even later we were like, what could have, like, if there was something there, what could have made that noise? And we were sort of looking around and we thought, oh, maybe if there was an ice machine down there. But we looked later. I think we were actually having a drink looking for ice. But there was no ice machine.
Yeah, no.
So I don't know what could have caused that, if it was something. But yeah, maybe it literally was a voice.
From memory, it sounded like Queen's...
No, we got
clinking together.
Yeah, we got
that
that as well. It was like the first one was like a, like that.
Yeah.
Really weird, growly sound. But then you're right. It was like that faint clinking that we heard on the audio. We didn't hear it at the time. We played it back and listened back to it. And there's this really weird clinking. And I think we're trying to work out what could make that sound. And the only thing we could think of was coins.
Can you tell us what happened on this staircase just out here? What was that? So, what the staircase just out here? What was that? So, what the heck? What the hell was that? What was that? So, what the heck? What the hell was that? Got a metal chink up there then too.
We did get that actually. There.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Got a
It's
metal.
like, you know what it reminds me of? Coins chinking together.
I will say
Chink up there then too.
there are coins in the pan that's being held by that mannequin guy on the stairs.
There are, yeah. It was that like when you got coins in your hand and they clink. It was a very light clink, wasn't it?
I think we said the only coins that were there was that really weird mannequin on the staircase. Hasn't he got a tray with coins in?
It's true, yes.
He's a very strange thing.
He's a creepy thing, isn't he? We need one of those, definitely. So now I think really the Estes was probably the most interesting. And for anybody who doesn't know what an Estes is, how would you describe, just to get you lot talking about what an Estes, how would you describe it to?
So it's similar to a spirit box session. A spirit box just sweeps through radio stations very fast, and every now and then you might hear a snippet come through, whether it's from radio, a piece of voice, but you want to listen for things that are relevant and that come across multiple sweeps. So the ST session takes that into like a different style, I guess. So one person will listen to the radio through noise cancelling headphones and often close their eyes or put a blindfold on. So it's like sensory deprivation. They'll literally just call out anything that they hear come through the spirit box, while others ask questions to which they cannot hear. So it is more interesting if you get responses through that are of relevance to what's being asked, because it eliminates some bias essentially. Now, if anyone does watch the Estes that we did at this particular point in the pub, it does look kind of strange because we made Jarrad do it. I mean, he decided to lay down on the floor, which
It's
is
my
just slate.
No, it's
But
that's
it looks
because
very
he's young.
odd
It's
and
because he's young.
uncomfortable. But I'll let Jarrad talk to why he likes laying down.
I like to lay down because I don't have to worry about balance and I can really relax and get into it. That's why I find like I get more of a trance state going if I'm completely void of any concentration whatsoever.
And you said the word there that I'm interested in, trance state.
Yeah.
Because that is what I've been finding lately. The best results people seem to trance out.
I don't know if it's the white noise, the cycle of the just sort of getting to, but I feel like I enter a trance state, especially if I'm laying down. And when that happens, I sort of feel like tingling all over my body, and I feel like I hear more things when that happens. Like the words, like my hearing's more acute. Is that the word? I don't like. It's really like tuned in.
Yeah, we I think are the same as well, and I guess that's an additional theory with the SDs is that is a sensory deprivation. It can put you into a trance state because you've got the rhythmic, repetitive noise, the white noise in your ears. You're not looking at anything. So if you can really get into a zone where you're comfortable, hence why we try to lay down or at least sit very comfortably when we do it, and you can really put all of your like concentration towards just the noise, you do enter a trance state. And Jarrad's mentioned before, he feels like the room is spinning almost as if he's had a few drinks. I sometimes feel like I'll be dropping, but yeah, we find when you do enter the trance state is where the conversation sort of flows better.
And
you get more relevant responses.
It doesn't happen straight away.
Sometimes I even think it's like you go past and beyond that point where you're listening to the radio snippets and relaying them, and it's maybe just more of a lucid, fluid conversation.
We recently had just to get into that subject, recently had a guest that for 45 minutes gave us a full-on conversation on Estes. Blew my mind. I actually thought she must be able to hear, because it was so correct answers every time, and to the point where I snuck up behind her, touched her on the shoulder and grabbed the ghost box off her really quickly and had to listen. She couldn't have heard. But she also didn't move. One thing Cag pointed out, she didn't move for 45 minutes.
No,
she was at an angle like that. She had her legs crossed, her ankles crossed. Nobody sits for 45 minutes without twitching like that. And it was almost like she tranced out. And I'm thinking now that the people who have the better sessions are the people who are trancing. And it's just putting them into a different state of listening, and I guess they can communicate a lot easier. Maybe.
The only thing I find sometimes is when I'm in that trance state, as soon as something does come through, because I'm having to talk to relay it, it brings me out of it a little bit. And it takes me another 30 seconds to get back into it.
Yeah. So I can normally tell if Jarrad's in it, because he'll start being like, hello, like trying to speak very soft and like easily rather than hello, because that means he's like, trying to stay in it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because you went into a trance in your most recent episode at one of my favourite places, Jedburgh.
Yeah.
You went really
Amy was
weird.
trancing in that one. Amy was
honestly, like I was literally drools coming out of my mouth, which is gross, but I could tell I was very like tranced and relaxed. I don't really remember that session. And a lot of the things that we film, we filmed months ago before we actually edit it. And, usually after, Jarrad and I will try to fill each other in, but sometimes you forget or you don't fill in gaps. And when I edited that particular one back, I was like, holy crap, that is really, like, it was scary. Like, I got, when you see something that's really terrifying and you get, like, the chills. Yeah. I was getting chills editing my own video, like, what I was saying and what was going on. Just so weird. We definitely always lay down and try to aim to be as comfortable as we can to try and induce the trance. You don't always get there, but
if you were laying down, you wouldn't have drooled. So there's another benefit.
I might have choked on my saliva.
I'm sorry, Amy will no longer be making episodes because she choked on her own drool.
Death by Estes.
How embarrassing! How embarrassing would that be on your?
Can you imagine that
on your death certificate?
It would be fitting to my life, though.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
She died doing something she loved.
Yeah.
So when Jarrad was on the headphones, lying in his comfortable position on the floor that we would never on the very hard slate that we would never ever get into, but hey, he's young. We're not.
No.
I think a couple of we had a lot of responses. The episode is up. Go and have a look at them. But a couple of the things, I think at one point we said, what year is it? And Jarrad came out with a really interesting answer and an interesting way of saying it. And I don't know if you can remember what you said, even. We were too tranced out.
Well, yeah, because you got to remember, I obviously I can't hear what they're asking, but I have seen the episode.
Yeah.
And I think I said something like... years it's been or something like that.
Yeah, years it's been.
Years it's been.
And that's such an old expression, isn't it? It's like the way they probably would have talked back there. Years it's been. Like one of the farmers, one of the yokels. Years it's been.
Imagine him with his little glasses on.
Yeah. But it also seemed to indicate that maybe they don't know years. Years it's been. It's just been years. Yeah. Can't give you a year on how long we've been here, because there is no such thing as years and time. Maybe, don't know. And I find this a lot. They don't always give that time frame. So, and but the one that really interests me is we were doing this and we were asking, is it a staff member? Did you used to work here? Is it staff member? And almost immediately, Jarrad went yes, and then he started to go beer up. Like that, and poor, and devil, and fallen, imminent, and all this stuff came out. And then we remembered, didn't we, about a certain cup. And Amy, you would know about this cup.
Yeah, the Devil's Cup. It's I guess a legend that's pretty prevalent in that area, and it's something that I had always known about the Skirrid Inn. So there's this cup on the mantle near the fireplace in the pub, little silver cup, and they call it the Devil's Cup. And part of the, I guess, the legends around it is every night you pour a bit of drink into it to sort of ward off the devil, to keep anything bad at bay, anything evil, negative away. And it's funny because we stayed the night before Cag and Alison sort of arrived, and I picked up the Devil's Cup to show it in my video, and it was empty. 4 years previously, when we had been, they were still filling the cup because there was definite liquid in it. So I was like, oh, they must have just stopped doing this traditional thing. They've still got the cup here, but they don't fill it, right? So it was kind of interesting to be like, oh, do they want the Devil's Cup filled? Is that something that they should still be doing? Is this the superstition of a staff member who used to work here, perhaps, you know?
And I guess if they'd done it for years and years and years, the staff, and if there is still a staff member there, and if they've taken their belief system across with them, maybe they've still got that belief. And maybe it's worrying them that this cup is not being filled. And it kept giving warnings as well. So do you used to work in here? Behind the bar? Or are we talking to a staff member?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Were you the one making noises behind the bar before? Maybe you've been trying to get our attention.
Beer up again. Beer up.
Not beer.
Beer.
The pub's shut. No more beer for you. Yeah.
Devils.
Oh,
Do you think we're devils?
are you going towards that cup?
Fallen. Imminent.
Devil's a fallen angel, right? Is that right?
Well,
Or the devil.
Yeah, the devil is the big one. But
Oh yeah, the cup is out of beer. You're right, Rosemary.
it is.
Maybe that is
The devil's cup.
just clicking.
We did have a word to the barkeep on the way out to say, hey, maybe you should start
Yes.
doing
Yeah,
it again.
because obviously we spoke to them before they left,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, how did you go?" And we said, "Hey, how long have you not filled the cup for?" And they're like, "Oh, it's been a few years now." We're like, "Oh, maybe I think someone wants it filled, so maybe start doing that again."
Maybe during COVID when they're closed, I'm like, you know what, let's just
Maybe,
leave
yeah.
the cup because it's going to get too mingy if we.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if we do go back to see if they are filling it again. The staircase was also interesting. I think, Amy, you were on the stairs. We'd put a music box down the hallway downstairs, and you were asking for whatever it was to walk towards you, and then almost immediately the music box went off. But didn't you see a figure down there or a shadow down there earlier when you were doing your investigation?
So we had been told that that's an area where the staff member that we spoke to has seen a figure, and multiple people have seen like a shadow figure walking down there. They've heard the footsteps as well. We didn't see anything, but we heard something. So we were staying overnight alone in the pub, and we heard someone walk through and sort of close the door, footsteps. And we thought, oh, I thought that the staff had gone for the night. So we went down and there was no one there. The noise was definitely that same hallway. So it's pretty interesting. The music box went off as soon as we asked for that specific thing right there, because it didn't go off all night other than that, really, did it? So it was, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it did stop after that. So it's not that it was glitching or anything. And all right, so we then went on to do the staircase, and it was the star of the show was actually GhostTube, which is hey, you're making.
Yeah.
Now, for those who question GhostTube and being an app, very in a nutshell, how would you describe? How does it work?
So the main sensor that GhostTube's using is a magnetometer. I actually found out recently I'm pronouncing it wrong, by the way. It's magnetometer. The Americans corrected us on that. So magnetometer. And essentially that's a compass. So it's used by apps like Google Maps to navigate and determine direction. Not all phones have them, but most of them do. But doing that, you can get a base reading of magnetic north, and you can use that to actually measure magnetic interference, and that's what our app's doing. So it can be used alongside devices like the K2 meter or sensor-based dictionaries like the Ovilus. People use it in place of that as well, or can use it alongside that as well. So
there's a basis behind it.
Yeah.
It's not, which is great. And this one was a real star of the show on the staircase.
Well, on the staircase it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was maybe the most relevant things that we had for the 2 nights that we were there, at least.
Yeah.
So we were on the staircase for a few reasons. One, there's that story of the hangman that hangs around on the staircase. There's also the holding cell that's just halfway up the staircase. So that's why we were there. But we actually didn't get responses relating to those stories at all. We actually got responses that linked back to the Devil's Cup, but also to our Fanny Price as well.
Yeah. So because it actually came out with her name, her surname.
Yeah. Surname, which is unusual for Ghost Tip, because obviously name-wise we've only got, a whole bunch of first names in there.
Maria's hidey hole.
Is there anybody maybe that was kept in this cell?
Early.
People being taken out.
Price.
Fanny.
That's Fanny's last name.
Price.
Oh.
Fanny's last name is Price.
So GhostTube did say Price. I do recall saying in the video her first name's not in the dictionary. So maybe that was a way that she could still convey herself, say, hey, I'm here, but she was just unable to select Fanny. But it also said medicine. Obviously, she was sick. She died of tuberculosis. And it also said perfume as well, I think, whilst I was doing the SDs. And one of the ghost stories to do with Fanny is people smell lavender or an old-timey perfume, which signifies her presence.
And we were right next to Kag's room as well when it said perfume as well, because that's where you were sleeping. That's Fanny Price's room, isn't it?
And she could have gone round with some perfume on, but because I've got a really bad sense of smell,
You
so I
can't smell
couldn't
anything.
smell it either. So sorry,
So-
Fanny.
And it also went straight back. Even GhostTube took it back to the cup.
Yeah, it said cup, which is a bit of a random word, but given that we were just hanging around downstairs talking about the cup and all that stuff coming through the Estes, we thought it was pretty cool.
And it said devil
Devil.
after it.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
cup. And then there's a little bit of
Devil,
chatter
yeah.
and then devil.
Devil. So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
So it's really, that was the theme of the night for us on
The
that
Devil's
one.
Cup.
Yeah.
Devil's Cup.
And of course, then we couldn't not go into Fanny's room.
No.
So we had to go and see if we could commune with Fanny. So
That's what these things, like we found as well, that sometimes some of the best investigations just follow where the evidence leads
Yeah.
you. Like we went to a cottage in Western Australia and we got the word clock come through, or something came to do with this grandfather clock that was in the living room.
Everything that came through was about the clock.
And
the clock isn't even haunted.
Yeah.
the clock's
Or in
not
a
even,
haunted room.
and it's not even original to that building.
Mm.
But we did find out later that that clock had travelled all over the world. So sometimes you don't expect something like the cup to be the focus of your investigation.
Yeah.
So
and for
That's cool.
so many different bits of equipment and Estes, and to be focusing on devil cup beer and stuff, it's just a little bit unusual.
and then we followed it sort of upstairs, and then that's where we found ourselves near
Yeah.
Fanny's room. So that was obviously the next place that made sense to
Yeah.
investigate.
And so in we went.
We did.
We collapsed onto a sofa in the only way two middle-aged ladies can,
Exactly.
while the young people stood around being all young. We kept giving them things. Amy, can you just go and put that on the cupboard? 'Cause we can't get out the chair. Give it to the young person. We can't get out. But we were already asking for Fanny. We'd put balls on the bed and on the bedside table. And we're asking for Fanny. And you were actually saying, Kag, if Fanny's here, can you try and light one of the balls up on the bed? Boom. We actually got it on request. And then that one never went off again. So, which was really interesting start.
So, Fanny, if you're here, so I'm going to be using this bedroom tonight, so I do apologise
apologise, I'm encroaching on you. But if you want that flower, you're more than welcome to have it, excuse me. All you got to do is light up the ball next to the flower and I'll leave it for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, there's 2 balls on there.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Now, you did get hiccups as well.
Yeah.
Which I did think was funny.
I know, because once I get hiccups, they just don't tend to go.
And we did ask Fanny to try and scare them out of you.
Yeah.
But she didn't. No,
No.
she didn't make herself useful there.
She's too busy lighting balls up on the bed.
That one came out wrong, isn't it? Okay, sorry. Oh, the children are misbehaving again. Well, Amy and Jarrad are there being the height of professional.
I just think we need to find venues where people have got boring names.
Like John
and
George
and Teresa, that sort of thing.
So we started to do the Estes, and I'd already plugged the headphones in. But you know, when before it goes on somebody's head, you can hear how loud it is. Yeah. And I turned the ghost box on, and in fact, you said the same thing, didn't you, Amy? We heard, I'm sure we heard the word Fanny come out of it.
Yeah. It really sounded like Fanny, and I was like, that just said Fanny, and you're like, did that say Fanny?
Yeah, it was like,
did everyone hear Fanny?
Everybody hear that?
But yeah, unfortunately it was plugged in through the headphones, so
and it
that's
wasn't on anybody's head. And you've had stuff before there, haven't you?
Yeah, we did I think when we were there 4 years ago, we had an Estes, sorry, not an Estes, we were doing just a regular spirit box, and we had some really cool stuff come through. We had like full sentences come through, which is rare for the spirit box.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the reasons why we always wanted to go back, because it seems like it is so haunted because of the responses that we got. So I think from memory, I had asked something about how many spirits are in the inn, or how many people are here with us right now, and the spirit box said lots and lots of them. And then my follow-up question was, oh, okay, so how many of you are in the inn? And straight away, very clear, it said 25. So I feel like they were our coolest responses, and that's another reason why we wanted to go back and, you know, you do the Estes in that particular spot, in that particular room. For Jarrad and I, when we did the Estes the night before, it was a lot of almost like a conversation. I was asking questions, but it didn't even seem at times that I was involved. It was like a conversation between multiple people in the room through Jarrad, which was kind of cool.
Cool. But whatever was there, I mean, we put Amy on the Estes. And she was coming out with some cool things. But you actually stopped at one point and asked if we were moving the bed.
That might have been, I think I was leaning on the bed from memory, and sitting and leaning on the bed. Sometimes when I do get trance, I feel like I'm maybe moving or things around me are moving. So it might have been that. But what's interesting, and I hadn't sort of connected these dots till just now, when Jarrad did the Estes the night before, did you say that you felt like the bed was moving as well?
I don't actually remember, to be honest. I may have.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, is there someone on the bed with you, or are you just like trancing?
Yeah, because you actually came out of it, took the headphones off. It feels like somebody's sitting on the bed, and when they make those little subtle movements on the bed. So, but I think whatever was there really didn't want us there any longer. No. Well, it didn't want you, Cag.
No, it didn't.
Because Amy came out with go, and Cag started to say, well, we can't, didn't you?
Because we're sleeping there.
Well, you were sleeping in that room, so you couldn't go anywhere. And you actually asked that question.
Well, I was going to say, are you okay?
Yeah, are you okay with us? And that's about as far as you got.
Yeah.
Before Amy spat out, no. Do you like Amy?
Go.
Oh, you want us to go? Oh, we can't go because we're sleeping here tonight.
Are you okay? That one?
No.
Okay.
You just got told.
Yeah. It's a bit rude.
And then it came out with the word, and this is where the child, we really are big.
Just remember, we were tired.
We were extremely tired. I think this is getting on for our 7th investigation of the trip.
But
we
were tired.
We were like overtired children. Of course, Amy came out very strongly with the word "you come," like that, or "you come," and of course, with the name and everything else, you and I lost it. And poor Jarrad had to pick up the pieces, because here's the ultimate professional here.
Yeah.
All right. So here's us acting like children when we should be the responsible adults.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrad trying to pull it back to being professional. And he went into this serious question. And then Amy told him to shut up. Shut up. It's like, so.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be showing
You come. Narcissist.
What?
Still one.
Okay.
You're still.
No.
How many people are in the room with us right now? Can you tell us that?
Shut up.
Oh.
Oh, now it's starting.
Oh.
Who's here? Why are you so aggressive?
But at the end of the day, it was leaving and stuff like that. Most of it was leave, and kind of, I think whatever was there had enough.
Yeah.
So we kind of respected that. But with it, I think what made me laugh, it was saying things like clothing or clothes. No, what would it come out with? They're all wearing. Amy came out with, after that, you come, stuff like that. It came out with, they're all wearing. And then it finished mid-sentence, and I'm like going, what, clothes? It's like, and I think with you and me, we're so different because we kind of have that underreaction, don't we? It's like when it said no to us, your action was, all right then. Whereas it's just this total underreaction to it. It's, at least you know that if anything happens and we start to freak out, it's kind of, a general getting tense.
Maybe they weren't referring to the Fanny drone incident hours earlier.
Oh, could have been.
Like, they're actually wearing clothes now.
She's finally got dressed and kind of looking appropriate. And it did say that, because I said, well, is it because of the trousers? Because women wouldn't wear trousers. And it responded that we were cute in those clothes. So there you go. Cute. You actually came out with on the Estes.
Cute.
You're cute.
You're cute.
Or they're cute. So, and with that, Cag, we said goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we decided to call it a night.
Well, until Amy said, the last thing she said was leave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Amy had to go to the whole session, really.
Yeah.
While she was on interview.
But you know what? We didn't take much encouragement to leave. It's just
No,
oh, look, it said leave. Maybe we should go to bed then.
Yeah.
But instead, we went to our room.
I had a little drinky poo.
And there was one last story.
Is that the incident that we don't discuss?
Yeah. I don't think that was the last we saw of Fanny. There was something else.
And it's all my embarrassment, by the way, these stories, but we'll leave you with one last tale. So, again, I was sitting on the sofa with Cag. And
you were in your room, weren't we?
Yeah, we were in the big room. And we were kind of having that wind down at the end of an investigation, as you do. And again, I suddenly remembered I needed something from across the room and out the suitcase. Now, I got up, walked past Amy and Jarrad, and at the time, I'd also, while we were away, had done my knee in, so it was an extreme agony in my knee, and I put my foot down wrong, and so it jarred the knee. Now, you've got two choices. You either protect the knee and let go of everything else, because that's what you're focusing on, or you collapse because your knee's given out, but you've protected everything else. So the knee won because I didn't want to go down. But unfortunately, what that meant is I might have released a little bit of wind, Cag.
A little bit.
Sound like the migrating waddle of geese. From what I remember.
And Jarrad's response to that was that a duck? I just, which unfortunately made me lose it and laugh louder. And of course, when you laugh louder, it's like coughing, isn't it, Cag?
Yes.
You can't. At our age, you can't control everything. So the duck quacked again. And Jarrad's response was, that another duck? So at this point, we were absolutely, I mean, we had tears streaming down our face. You were just killing yourself laughing, tears streaming down your face, and then you stopped.
Yeah. Well, I actually can't remember what happened.
Cag had a
To be
little moment.
truthful, I did have a moment.
The big moment.
Yeah.
She had an out-of-body experience, it seemed like.
Her soul left her body.
She just was laughing 1 second, sat up, blank. It was like nobody was home. It was just 1 minute laughing, bang, gone. Blank, just staring.
I think the three of us all knew something was like,
It's actually, it's really kind of interesting from a social dynamic, but also if you consider, I'm not saying this was a paranormal incident, but when you go into a building and it doesn't feel right and you describe and you're like, there's an atmosphere here that feels strange or different. So we went from like hysterically laughing, like this is the funniest thing that's ever happened, to 2 seconds later, we all stopped and we all knew that something was wrong with our friend. Like, oh shit, this is serious.
It was just like this silent. It's like, Cag.
Yeah.
Cag. You're Cag. It's just like, and then she kind of came to and looked at us and, what's wrong?
for the people watching the video version of this, it was something like this, like laughing, ha ha ha, and then it was like,
It was.
I thought Cag was possessed. I'm just going to put it out.
I
I was like,
I
Cag?
think we all
Like,
were.
is that Fanny? Or is
and
that Cag?
then 5 seconds later, you're like, sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Cag just
What are we doing?
Yeah.
was like, oh,
I thought I'd fell
sorry
asleep.
about that.
Yeah.
And we were like, do you know that you were unconscious for a second?
For about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I honestly thought I'd fell asleep. I thought, oh my gosh, how rude is that? Because I've got all these people.
But you were
here.
mid-laughter. There was no way
Yeah,
that was
no, it was just
falling
blank.
asleep.
Yeah, you kind of rocked forward
I
and
can
then
remember.
sat up really straight
I
and
can,
was just blank.
yeah, I can remember laughing that much that, when you got your eyes closed, but you can see all these bright colours and you're laughing. I'm thinking, oh, this is not going to end well. And then that was it. And that's the next thing I remember is waking up and you guys got asking me if it was okay. And I'm like, of course I'm okay. I just fell asleep.
But only a few seconds had passed, so it was like instant laughing to nothing.
Yeah, it was
Very
really
bizarre.
weird. And you haven't had it since. Because I was a bit nervous.
No.
I thought, okay, well, we travel all over the place, all over America. She was driving in America. I thought, oh, don't make her laugh. Because if she laughs and she does that behind the wheel, we're all dead.
Yeah.
But you've never had it. We've done that laughing and you've never had that since.
No.
Never had
I
it
blame
since.
Fanny.
It was
I
almost...
blame
Do you know,
Fanny.
I thank Fanny because... That's so wrong. I do thank Fanny because if that was Fanny, she helped me because she redirected our attention to what I'd just done in front of these lovely people here. All right.
Whack, whack.
To us completely forgetting about the dark.
Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe it ended with Fanny taking over Cag. Who
Maybe.
knows? Who knows? The paranormal is a mysterious thing.
It is.
So I just want to thank Amy and Jarrad for coming in today and spending some time with us. So hopefully you'll come back and chat about another investigation that we've done together. So we'll
And also
do
for
that
doing
next
the
time.
filming and stuff while we were there as
Yeah.
well. And for Jarrad for being so bossy and telling us to get ourselves
He
organised.
was great,
He was
wasn't he?
so much fun. He was like, where's your plan? Where's your plan?
What plan?
There was
We
no
We don't have a plan. We don't have a plan. We just go in there with a camera and
Okay, live.
So-
Okay, going live. 5 minutes. 5 minutes,
he'd
guys.
walk past, wouldn't he? Head down, walk past. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes to live.
But they got us well organised, so that was good.
And he taught us a new rig, which we've been using ever since.
Yeah.
Which has been absolutely perfect. Thank you, Jarrad, for
Yeah.
that.
Do you use a handle underneath, Cag?
No,
You
I
hold
use
it
it on the
instant?
side. Well,
Got it.
yeah.
So, but Brilliant. All right, we're going to leave you. Have a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe if you're listening to this before Christmas. And we'll see you again closer to the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great day. Have a great day.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Christmas.
Bye. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe to this podcast. The extended video version of these episodes are available for members of Spotify and Patreon. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and see the full investigation from these episodes on our YouTube channel. Details are in the About section of this podcast. Thank you from Cag and Ali for listening.